This is therapy session 4, and it is Thursday, August 10th, 2022. And we're up in Wisconsin on the farm. Did a recording with my cousin last night, and something I had mentioned to him, because he talks about like places I've been, Miami, Arizona, just recently, and he asked like how I feel about like here, and I expressed to him how a lot of what I do is based, it's like rooted in the philosophy that Phil Jackson used to coach the Chicago Bulls in the 90s and the Los Angeles Lakers during their title run as well. And, like back when I had the near-death experience with the John Deere tractor starting on fire and having to jump from it, and then from that deciding I want to live a greater life, I reread his book Sacred Hoops and decided, if Michael and Kobe could do this, I can do this too. And Phil would have guys, I don't even know if this is in the book, but he would have guys visualize a safe place in their lives, whether it's a place from their childhood or, somewhere where they vacation, but a place that brings them peace and relaxation, calmness. And sometimes during games, during timeouts, amidst, the chaos of the crowd and the noise and the situation on the floor, he would have guys take time and just go to their safe places in their minds. And this is my safe place. So that's why we've been doing these therapy sessions here, because this is my safe place. And it's been a month and a half since the gunmen encounter, where 3 guys came at me with Uzi guns, demanding everything I had. And I feel fantastic. I really do. I feel really good. Not good. I feel great. I feel better than before it happened. I truly do. And it's been quite a summer. And my whole goal for the summer was to prepare for the fall and be at like a certain point, certain things. And I do feel I'm very close. It's not over yet, but I do feel that I've also exceeded it. Just with my mindset. My mindset and just approach on life is just radically different. And like I was saying before this happened, how life had just gotten easy and boring. And it's not that way anymore. Like I felt like I plateaued a little bit before this. And now, I've read 3 books already. 3.5 now. I read Bill Belichick's biography, Bob Dylan biography, Finite and Infinite Games. And right now I'm reading Turing's Cathedral, about the origins of the digital universe. I was in a reading slump, and now that's something I used for the tractor fire. Post tractor fire was like, I want to live a better life, so I just started reading books, things I was curious about. That's the key point, is like I don't read to read, I read to learn. And I select books that I think within the next 3 months I'll be able to gain something from. And so when I'm reading to like pick stuff out. like puzzle pieces. So I should talk about this Arizona trip that we had. This is my best friend from college, his bachelor party. He lives in Brooklyn. It was in Page, Arizona. We had this big house that we rented for the weekend, and it had like these steps. So like you had a hot tub, then a pool, and then a fire pit, and it just overlooks this canyon. And I have spent like no time in a desert topography, geography. So it was really interesting to see all these rock formations. I enjoyed it. I was with 11 other guys, and everybody's kind of in different places in their lives. One person has 3 kids. Another person has a kid on the way. Someone lives in Denver, Minnesota, Chicago, a few in New York, and Las Vegas, San Francisco. One is just like living in a van, just like roaming around. It was cool because the thread is my friend Joe, where he's the most thoughtful friend that I have, one of the most thoughtful people that I know. He's very like intentional and deliberate and just like minimal. Like everything should matter in a space or on a trip, or like your actions that you take, the words that you say, right? And it's just such a loving environment. I went out there. I stayed in Vegas for a night. I didn't check out the Strip. I've never been to Vegas. Then we road tripped, and it was supposed to be 5 hours, and it was 8 hours because we got stuck in traffic twice. The first time was like an hour outside of Vegas, just at a standstill, parked. We parked and just got out. No AC, just chilling for 2 hours. But I think that adversity actually added to the experience. I didn't have a problem. I wasn't driving though either. So then we got there. I was up late every single night. Every night I'm like the last one to go to bed. And then we went on Lake Powell. We had this pontoon boat. It was just so beautiful. Went swimming in the Lake Powell. That was interesting. I was like, man, I'm not in as good a shape. I was asking another. I'm like, hey, did you guys struggle swimming in here? They're like, oh yeah, that was tough. And I'm like, maybe we're all out of shape. I don't know. Then we just chilled again, barbecued out by the pool. Then we went out to dinner. We hit up the town for the night. Drank some Don Julio 1942. Smoked some cigars. I don't have a cigar today. Smoked it last night during our recording. But it was such this great environment where we just had so many open and honest conversations about life and the world and relationships, and just it was really good, really healthy. And I came back from that trip. I spent another night in Vegas, hit up the Strip, checked it out, the MGM, and I just loved it. It's like a adult Epcot. And then they got me into this American Express lounge at the airport on the way back. Free buffet and drinks and Wi-Fi and just a lounge, TV. It was I went to the buffet like 4 times, had 2 glasses of red wine, drank a lot of coffee. Man, I thought about delaying my flight to a red eye just so I could just stay there all day. That was fun. But overall, it was a great trip. And then when I came back, I think I just felt so good. For a number of reasons. I think it confirmed the path that I'm on. It's probably the main talking point today is like I'm so unbound to everything. And this the gunman encounter really like accelerated this, or made me detach even more from, say, I don't know, the machine. Like someone said during the weekend, I'm the most unbound to the machine of everybody there. And it's, I've been, over the last 4 years, working on getting better every single day, taking steps every day. And I've developed my own philosophy along the way, merging and combining stuff from Phil Jackson and, Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, and the Beatles and Steve Jobs and Jesus, Buddha, all these books, like and experiences and art and conversations, biology, nature, physics, engineering, that I just do what I do. And what I have found, though, and this was something I've come across over the past year, is how the smarter you get, the lonelier you become. Or at least that's what I've experienced. It's like, I don't know, you just, like, no one is putting in the effort that I am. And I understand that I shouldn't hold people to that same standard or expectation, or, because we all have different experiences and motivations and stuff, but I want the most out of my life, to realize my full potential. I think that's the aim, is like, you have this genius inside of you, each and every one of us, and you go throughout your life, and do you let that genius speak into the world? And with the machine and society, there's like this tiptoeing around things. It's like very passive, and it's very it's like fear. It's like this living in fear of, like, is this right? Is this wrong? Is this, there's all this overthinking instead of just living with, just love. And I think a lot of it comes down to self-love. Like, I love myself, and I don't think I think the ideas of self-love often on social media and stuff are just like not appropriate. Like, love is like this, I don't know, this generous and kindness and understanding that you're a human being, and human beings are flawed. We are who we are. But, like, not comparing oneself to other people or the things they've done, or what they have or what they don't have, whatever. Just be you. Just live your life. And going back to this, like, over the last year, I found myself feeling lonelier and lonelier. And it's tough. like really tough. And I would talk to Dr. Dave about it and be like, like sometimes I'm in conversations with people and I say something and they look at me like they give me this like jarred look. And so like some of the things I say, like people aren't used to hearing. And I have like no concept of like, I have no idea anymore of like what I'm supposed to say or what not supposed to say. I just live my life and do my thing. And I think on this trip, it was a really good indication to me of like what I'm like totally unbound. I'm like a free bird out here. And, but in a space like what is, it confirmed like that I don't want to say right is the wrong thing to say. Like I'm on to something. Like I'm right. Which is empowering, and I just, I think that's the big thing I see in society is like everything is all this. I'll talk a little bit about this book I read, Finite and Infinite Games. Now, I brought Turing's Cathedral and Stuff Matters and the Bhagavad Gita on the trip. Started reading Turing's Cathedral. But then I met this guy, Ryan, who's a software engineer at Apple. And we hit it off. We were just chatting about life and philosophy and the future and technology, like hours every single day. Oh man, we just like wanted to be around each other. I get along really well with software engineers, and he recommended the book Finite and Infinite Games because he said it sounds like how I'm living and approaching things. It sounds like I'm playing an infinite game. So I read this book in like less than a week. And the finite, most people are playing a finite game where it's like this competition. There's clear winners and losers. And it's all very theatrical. But it doesn't really matter. And I think the loneliness part that I've been experiencing, certainly over the last year, is I want to meet more infinite players to play with. So the goal of an infinite game is to continue playing the game. And there is no like, it's not so, there aren't all these rules and boundaries. You make up the boundaries. And there, in a way, like, are no boundaries. You're just playing with each other. And it's fun. And I think in modern society, the finite game is what people focus on. But I think in the 21st century, I want more people to play with. And I want to meet more people to play with. Because it's fun. I'm having so much fun into life. And it goes back to the gunman encounter where I feel better than before right now. And it seems like other people are projecting onto me. I've mentioned this a few times, but like I'm really doing great. And I think it's because, or I believe it's because I've been preparing the last 3-4 years, practicing philosophy every single day, creating my own philosophy that I live by. And those are my rules and boundaries, not what society says or indicates. Like, those aren't real in a sense. It's like it's almost like people expect you to like feel bad, or like, you went through this trauma, you should do this or do that, but like, this is how I feel. I feel really, really great. Now there's other aspects of my life that I'm trying to improve. I had a conversation with a close person that I know, and we were talking about just like lack of female companionship in life, and just like having someone to talk to on a regular basis, be by, and like that presence. I feel like I'm certainly lacking with that. Like, I see guys that are kind of similar to me, very like entrepreneurial, focused, independent, and they're doing their own thing. They're successful, and they're like single and like older. And it's just, I don't want that to be me. I think it's ugly. So something I need to work on is like being less intense all the time. But I am. I don't know. It's weird. I just like, I get my work done before I play. Like this last weekend, I know how to have a good time. And I don't know, but like more on a daily basis. I don't know. My mind's on all the time, and I have fun in like everything I do. I'm interested in everything. I'm here in the world, and I'm like very aware. Some of my greatest skills that I've developed over the last 4 years is awareness and agility. Awareness is something I've really developed from applying Phil Jackson's philosophy and how they won, because they would get on the court. Their goal was to play egoless basketball, where 5 minds working as one will defeat 5 individual minds acting in the interests of 5 individuals. So you don't even need to run plays. You just like see what they're doing, and then you just react to it. But you got to work on the like mindfulness and the like just like seeing things. That's how I approach it every day, and everything is really interesting that way. And then agility, just like be able to be adaptable and versatile and adjust, and flexibility. That's pretty important. I really emphasize those 2 things in my philosophy. I I don't know, I think therapy is something people do to combat trauma and heal and grow from. Can be very helpful for people. And the more things we have helping people get to a place of love and healing, that's a good thing. you also think too, like, you experience something like this, it's a traumatic event, you know? 3 guys with Uzi guns right at your face, ready to shoot, telling you they're gonna shoot you. That's a traumatic experience. And I live my life pretty non-dramatically. I'm really good at fundamentals. I'm disciplined. I work hard. It's pretty boring. People find that boring though. So when something like this happens, it's pretty thrilling. I kind of dug the attention. I like the attention that I initially got. So I can definitely see how people can take a trauma and the incentive to like extend it out or play it out is certainly tempting, but I think you should you just heal, move on. I had channels to exert my anger or frustration or motivation within, like immediately when it happened, I already knew what I was going to do. And I think it'd be a lot tougher for people that don't have that outlet or that don't have those outlets. It's an interesting thing. So I don't know if we keep doing these or not. I'm really enjoying life right now. This month is the hardest month of my life with all the things I have lined up and I need to get done and execute. It's going to be really tough. Like it's like you're always like trailblazing that you don't know what's ahead. You have an idea, but you don't know because you've never been there before. You're always going ahead and you always have to be like mentally adjusting and have this mental agility, mental toughness to put yourself in a position to be successful. That can be frustrating at times when you don't know what next week looks like or the following week, or the next month. But the main thing, if you're thinking about a compass, is like, am I going in the right direction? Head in the right direction. The direction inside you're supposed to be going. That you want to be going. That in your life you are deciding, I'm going this way. The other direction is all paved out for you. It's nicely landscaped, beautiful. But in a way, it's very artificial. I try to stay away from artificial things, including artificial ideas. Something that annoys me, and it's very obvious to me, is like the artificialness of words that people use or make up. It's like there's always constantly being these words added that you're supposed to know and say and use. Shame on you if you don't know these words. Except it's like the same type of people that know these words, only the like college educated. But it's like this incestuous area. It's like, I'm coming from a rural background, working class background. You're excluded from those things. There's like an exclusion to it. And it's weird. I think in the world we want more inclusivity. That's the beauty of the world. We want people of all cultures and ideas and backgrounds, interests, to be able to get together and live harmoniously, to enjoy each other's presence. And I think just like creating these boundaries all the time is really it's really detrimental. It inhibits the ability to create that culture and environment. Um, Again, it's like this tiptoeing thing. It's really interesting. But I feel great. I'm grateful to have the people in my life that I do have. I'm always looking to meet new, fantastic people. Again, more infinite players would be nice. Some female companionship. I'll tell you real quick what I'm working on. I designed a dating algorithm for myself, one that's effective for like what I'm looking for. And this algorithm is based on personality, compatibility, and skill set. So like I know what I'm doing with my life and where I'm going, the direction, and I'm looking for someone to join me in that direction. And it'd be helpful to have certain skill sets. I've realized that what skill I'm looking for, something I find really attractive, is a woman who knows her way around a computer. That excites me. So it's part of the concept. I can't reveal it entirely because it may be like a business idea. I revealed it in Arizona. They're like, what? Because we were talking about like so-and-so's on Tinder and whatever. To me, like Tinder's like the lowest quality. But it's like, but there's also, when I tell people this, there's this like jarred reaction. Like, you're playing God. Well, I'm also like playing the universe too, where so I hired someone to do web research to find me people of a certain occupation within 30 cities in the Western Hemisphere. And I got a list back of like 113 women, and they're like social media profiles. And I've gone through each one, and I've identified 2 gold star prospects. And then there's also like more that I think I'd be interested in. And I'm just, this was before the gunmen encounter. So it became a lower priority, and now I think it's back up at the top. It's interesting again. So I got to find maneuver ways to like reach out to them in a natural way. But I'm also like banking on the universe saying, oh, you think that's how love works, hey? Well, I'm going to put some prospects right in front of you, and then we'll see what happens. And I'll be prepared for that, right? So while I'm doing this over here, I'm also anticipating the universe to, put some potential compatible people in front of me. To me, like, that seems better to create an algorithm for yourself rather than be at the whim of Tinder or Bumble or Hinge or whatever these are, based on geography, or you're just swiping aimlessly. Like, if you know yourself, you'll know what you want, what you're looking for, and then you just go find that. I don't think that's an outrageous concept or idea. We were talking about in Arizona. We were talking about, because our friend's getting married, and we're talking a little bit about deal what is it? Deal breakers. I used to. Well, we don't need to go into all of these, but there was this one girl I got along really well with, but she had this thick Chicago accent. So she's talking like this all the time, and I'm like, I can't do this. There's this woman I'm into right now, or like I met her this summer. We hit it off really good. Something about women in the city, so they start all thinking all the same, and this woman thinks differently, and I appreciate that. It's like if you met one woman, you met them all in a sense in the city. They all think the same, and that is just so boring to me. That's a problem with a lot of big cities in America, is that they lack diversity of thought right now. But anyways, this woman, like we've had some deep conversations. I've told her about like how I feel about the loneliness thing, and the smarter you get, the lonelier you become, type of thing. The only problem is that she dresses like a witch, and it's kind of a deal breaker for me. Wearing all black with like a black hat and a corset, black lipstick. But I really like her mind. But dressing like a witch. You do you. That's fine. You do your thing. But it's kind of a deal breaker for me. Should be like a Seinfeld episode of all my like deal breakers. The main deal breaker though. This one is like, I plant my flag on this one. Like no, I don't date women who grew up in the suburbs, or at least Chicago suburbs. This is like a very extensive theory and philosophy of mine, and goes very deep. But I'm not. The suburbs are an artificial environment. It's not real, and it breeds this culture of competitiveness, artificialness, blandness, materialism, conspicuous consumption, always. It's about the theater of everything, and like it's just so phony to me. It was like people that grew up in the city and rural areas, it's very like natural. It's like real. And there's not this like inflated sense of like trying to prove something to other people. So that's the main deal breaker that I have. Anyways, life is good. Life is great. I'm doing really good, and this is gonna be a tough month of August here, going into the fall. But we're gonna do what we can. We're gonna try our best every day, and just keep on keeping on. Just be ourselves and just do our thing. Not really worry about what anybody else thinks or projects. If you know deep down, you just got to let it shine. Let your light shine. Shine on.